Welcome to the first of two movies on preparing a movie, starting with a PowerPoint file that you're going to create from OneDrive. And we're going to take it all the way to a movie production and a few other considerations that you want before we're actually getting into the making of the actual movie. You do not need to copy any of this down, but if you wish to jot notes, feel free, whatever you need to. So we're going to move on now. First, I'm going to go over some technology needs, focusing first on the devices. When you're going to make your initial PowerPoint file, which needs to be a PPTX file, you can do it on a laptop, desktop, or a tablet. Any of those works just fine. When it comes time to making the movie, if you're using an older version of PowerPoint, it'll have to be updated to the PPTX. And you're going to require a laptop or a tablet, which I asked in class, and it seems like almost everyone has access to. And that should have a microphone and a camera. Most of your laptops have microphones and cameras built in, so that makes it relatively easy. So we're going to move on now. The second is the version of PowerPoint, which I alluded to earlier. You need to have one of the latest two versions, which is 2016 or 2019, in order to make the videos, because that has the program embedded in it. When you're going to do the recording, you should see one of two things. You should either see an icon on the very top right called Recording, or you should see an option under the Slideshow tab called Record Slideshow. So you should see one of the two. And we're going to, when I get to the other video, I'm going to be going on the assumption that you're going to the slideshow and then record slideshow version. Next point, yep. If you need to upgrade because you don't have the newer version, this is a free download from the school board's website. So you go to publicboard.ca and then you've got the little button at the top for student, and then near the bottom of the list somewhere is free Microsoft Office for students. And the great thing about it is you can download this onto your devices and you're allowed up to 5 free copies. And those are good for as long as you are a student with the school board. So we're going to move on now. Next, I want you to start from OneDrive. So this will probably be new for many of you. So what you're going to do is this. You're going to go to the board's website and again select student. And the very top one is Office 365. Now, this is where I'm assuming that your Office 365 looks similar to mine because I go under the staff one. You then choose, once you've logged in to Office 365, so you need your student number and your password, you log into Office 365 and you select from those that 3x3 grid in the top corner, you choose OneDrive. From there, in OneDrive, there should be a little button that says New, and from there you're going to choose a drop-down list, and one of your options is PowerPoint presentations. You're going to select that. It's going to open up PowerPoint, but it's going to be the online version. And the first thing you should do is rename the file. To do that, you go to the very left-hand side of the top where it says File, and then on the list on the left-hand side it'll say Rename. And then there is only one option that it shows in the middle of the screen called Rename, but you still have to click it, and then it'll give you an option to rename the file. In quotes, what I've got is last first topic. So in my case, I would put Arner _ Neil _ and then whatever the name of my topic was, you'd put your medical project. It will automatically add the extension PPTX. We're going to move on now. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what your slides should look like in terms of how you physically arrange things on your slides. Since you're going to make a movie to share with me and I want to see your face while you're talking, like you're seeing my face while I'm talking, you need to plan a spot on every slide where you're going to position that screen. It doesn't have to be the same spot every time. The topic section that you're working on, it could be a sentence, could be just a word or two, can be your headings, and the rest of the slide will be for your content, however it's laid out. I happen to choose the upper left-hand corner as the place where I put my face in most of my movies, simply because if you're sitting in the classroom, you know that the light, there's a light mounted on the wall kind of in that location where I project, and so I can't use that as a place to put information, so that's where I use for my movies to put my face. We're going to move on now. As for the content, I've given a suggestion of what the topic should be, and some students have the idea that they have to do them in that exact order, phrased exactly the same way. Nope. If you want to change the order because it makes better sense for your topic, go ahead. And if your topic doesn't cover every single one of those items, because remember, those instructions are pretty generic for a range of topics. So if you need to skip a topic or two because it just doesn't fit with your project, that's fine. Usually every time you skip something like that, though, in the process of researching for your assignment, you realize, oh, this is something neat that isn't on Mr. Arner's list. Go ahead and put an extra slide or two or whatever you feel needs to be done and put some of that in as kind of replacement information. Use whatever layout matches your needs, so feel free to change the layout from one slide to the next. It's just fine. There's no one magic layout that works for everything, so feel free to change it up whenever you need to. What I do have is this. We need a target of a 3 to 4 minute presentation, but that doesn't necessitate a certain number of slides. I've had students do the presentation beautifully with as little as 4 slides, but they did them really, really well. And based everything on how much they were talking, describing, and referencing some of the diagrams that they'd used. So about 4 slides would be the absolute minimum. Maximum, it depends a little bit on how much information you put on a slide. I've had students do great jobs with as many as 20 slides. If you're getting over 20 slides, you're probably needing to learn a little bit about the animations so you can put more than one new sentence on a slide. But if you have questions about that, feel free to ask any of the time you have in the synchronous time, or ask a friend, or hopefully you took BTT 1.0 or know someone who did. We're going to move to the last slide of this presentation now. And a couple of hints. Please use simple backgrounds. Some people love to use photos as their background, but different colored text is hard to read if it's written over a photo. So it's probably better to have a single color background. Absolutely use photos, just make sure that you don't have writing over them. Usually you want an easy to read font and at least a font size of 20. The particular presentation I'm doing right now has a font size of 24 for almost everything. But as for the font types, there are some bad choices. As soon as I put this up, most of you looked at it and it's like, that's cursive, that's hard to read. Now, what that says, if you're trying to read this on your phone and it's a little small, bad choices are hard to work with, 48 font. So yes, this is a font size twice the size of the one I've been using, and it's in cursive and it's hard to read. So pick something that's easy and clear to read. Try and keep your slides to 6 points or less, because the more points you put, first, the smaller the text gets, and second, it's easier to get lost. But as you're noticing, use the animation so I can put in 1 point at a time, and it's much easier to control the pacing. Use animations so the points can be paced with your speaking, but less distracting animations and transitions are better. Notice I didn't have massively long animations. I didn't have funny spins, stuff like that. Yes, you can put those in, but make sure that they add to your presentation, don't distract from it. That's it for the first presentation. The second movie is going to again talk about how we take your PowerPoint presentation that has all your animations, all your photos, all your text, all of that done, and how we turn that into a movie and share it with me so that everything is done. Thanks for watching.